All right, welcome to Healthcare for Artists. I'm here today with Alisa Alba, a company member of Yjastros. We are here at the University of New Mexico Theater and Dance Department at Pope Joy Hall. And I asked Alisa to talk with us today because she's been through a pretty intense injury and is kind of in the resolving phase and coming through on the other side. And so I wanted to talk with her about it so she could share her experience. When I arrived this week, last Friday, I was really surprised. I got to see you dance at the tablao here. It's a flamenco tablao in Albuquerque. And I thought you did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
And then I was so surprised when somebody told me, oh, this is the first time she's back dancing a solo in the tablao because she's been so injured. And so how was that for you?
It was tough. I took probably about a good 9 months off. So coming back and trying to just get back in shape, I realized that, you lose a lot. I lost a lot of momentum. And so I feel like I'm still trying to get back into shape and get stronger and back to where I was.
How much time did you take off?
I want to say it was about 9 months.
Yeah, that's a really big chunk of time for a dancer. I mean, for anything, right? But you take a week off and you feel it. So 9 months.
It was definitely a setback.
So what was happening in those 9 months?
So it was sort of a long process. I was considering some options. I had considered surgery at one point, and I at one point I learned from a second MRI that my condition had gotten worse, and so the type of surgery that had initially been offered to me, I no longer qualified for. It was going to be something a little bit more invasive, a little bit different that I just wasn't comfortable with. So I changed my mind about having the surgery, and then therefore spent the rest of that time just sort of doing physical therapy and just learning different stretches and strengthening exercise to sort of strengthen the muscles that are around the area to sort of help support it better.
So what was the diagnosis that they gave you?
So I learned that I had a herniated disc in my cervical spine in between levels C6 and 7, that the disc had herniated and ruptured, and that the two vertebrae were sort of pinching a nerve that was running through my right arm.
Okay, so you were feeling things all the way down your arm?
Yeah, and in hindsight, I kind of realized that this is probably something that has been happening over time. When I first finally went to the doctor, it was because, I guess I should say, I had always sort of dealt with very crazy tension in my upper shoulders here. I, often had my mobility was sort of not that great in my neck, and it was something that I had dealt with over a long period of time. But what finally made me go to the doctor was I woke up one day and I couldn't move, and I had just excruciating nerve pain in my right arm.
Yeah.
And it was just terrible. It took me like a good 45 minutes to get myself out of bed and just kind of get myself going. So that's what had kind of forced me to go get myself checked out. And when I described my pain, my symptoms, they had ordered an x-ray for me. And when those results came back, they saw that there was something definitely weird going on. And then after that, I went for my first MRI, and that's when they realized that the disc had herniated.
Yeah. And so did you ever have any major injuries to that area that they thought could have kind of started getting you in that direction, or?
Nothing that I can put my finger on. I mean, when they realized that it was a herniated disc, the first thing the doctor said was, this typically, especially for somebody of your fitness level and your age, this typically only happens with like severe trauma.
Yeah.
Like somebody's in a car accident, or somebody jumps in the pool and, hits their head and breaks their neck or something. And I definitely, obviously wasn't in any sort of crazy trauma. I think, like I said, I think it's just over time,
Normal pace is too fast for me.
you know, dancing over so many years, maybe improperly or, you know, not warming up properly, just kind of made it happen over time.
And so then how long ago was it that you got that initial x-ray and MRI?
I want to say it was back in April, I think, of last year.
And what did they recommend for you at that point?
Well, at that point, they were recommending surgery.
Okay, so right away.
Right away, that was it was either, well, I guess they had also talked about alternative ways, but it was either, I take some time off and do physical therapy, or I schedule a surgery. And recovery time may have been like 3 months, I think they were saying.
Okay. And how do you feel they were with working with you, being a dancer, and like understanding what you were going to need?
I mean, it was kind of hard to sort of explain what it is that I do with my neck and my body, what it is that I needed my neck for, and what it was that, was happening on a physical level as far as turning, and dancing every single day. And so when they told me, recovery time, 3 months, and then you can get back to what it is you do. And I'm like, well, that's kind of scary to think like what it is that I do isn't necessarily what.
Yeah, you're not just like walking down the street to the grocery store.
Right, yeah. And so that was kind of scary, to think of what really would it take for me to fully recuperate from that and to be able to dance with as much force and energy as before.
And so then you decided to hold off at that point. Was it fear, or were you feeling like timing?
I decided to hold off. I was feeling fear. I was also feeling like we were in the middle of our season, and I was doing shows, and we were opening, the tablao and starting to do shows there, and I just felt like I could put it off for a little bit more, and I continued dancing, and unfortunately the condition did get worse, and so once that happened, I thought, okay, I need to stop. It was a lot. The hardest part probably was just learning to be patient with myself and learning to just accept it, like it is what it is, Where before I was like, oh, it's okay, I'll just do what I always had done, put some Tiger Balm here and take some ibuprofen and let's go.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of kind of, and I'm still learning how to dance smarter, I guess, and take care of myself and be patient with myself and sort of listen to my body and understand that, it's telling me something's wrong.
Yeah. That was actually going to be my next question. So you went to the doctor because you were getting this intense pain. And so what did you do for pain management at that point to get you through?
I had a lot of things going on. I mean, aside from just kind of stretching and all that, I got trigger point injections put directly into my back. I was on pain medication and nerve numbing medication, which sort of just numbs your nerves, and so you kind of don't feel anything.
Did that affect your dancing in any way?
Absolutely. I mean, it affected my whole day. Like the whole day I just felt, and at that point I don't even think I was dancing that much anymore, but I was definitely going to work and just, living life, but feeling kind of foggy all the time, just kind of, I hate to say it, drunk. I was feeling, just kind of like not myself because I was on pain medication, and I was in pain too all the time. I mean, those things kind of don't help all the way, but just kind of exhausted from being in pain and from not sleeping very well, and so I definitely just felt not myself.
Yeah, it sounds like it was really tough few months.
It was very hard.
Yeah. How did you feel supported by the company in terms of like the modifications that you needed to make?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody kind of, Joaquin was very understanding, Eva, Marisol, they were very, letting me know that, take as much time as you need. We'll be here when you're ready, stuff like that.
That's so fortunate because in so many companies, it would be like, well, next.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you kind of had your place held and that you were able to.
Great people too. I've got a lot of great friends in the company, so
yeah.
I definitely felt the love.
Yeah, that's great. So then once you decided to go back and get reimaged, then was that because you were considering the initial idea of surgery or did something get worse or?
Well, they had let me know that there was sort of two types of surgery. One that I qualified for was sort of, they were going to open me up, remove the disc, and put like a prosthetic disc so that I would still have the mobility on that level. That incorporated with physical therapy to sort of strengthen these muscles to support that prosthetic, and that was one of the options. And I did, not everybody, I guess, with a neck injury qualifies for that option because it can only be, at one level. You can't really put more than one prosthetic because then it becomes too unstable. So if it wasn't that option, the other option was to remove the disc and fuse the bones together. And that kind of was, I didn't like the sound of that at all. So like I said, initially I had put it off and continued to dance. And my doctor thought it would be a good idea to get another MRI just to see if I still qualified for that first type of surgery or to see if the condition had gotten worse. And it had gotten worse. And also, strangely enough, though, even though it had gotten worse, the symptom of the nerve pain had gone away. So that was another reason why they were kind of saying it's really the symptoms that drive a doctor's decision for surgery, not the image.
Yep, always. Which is awesome.
That was another.
I'm actually really happy to hear that they told you that.
Yeah.
Because it's something, I mean, honestly, so many people, like, when they come in to try to get care, right away they're like, should I get an MRI? Should I get an X-ray? Do it. And, and the thing is that what we find over and over is that what is happening in the imagery doesn't correlate with people's level of pain. Like there's some people that can just have what on an image would look like a disaster zone and no pain.
Right.
Or people that are in a lot of pain and the area is totally fine.
Right.
And so, symptoms is a much more patient-centered way of managing a case, And so I'm really, actually, that makes me really happy to know that you were being, treated in that way. So then what was your physical therapy experience like?
It was good. I mean, I had realized that a lot of the exercises or the stretching that they were showing me had been something that I had been doing in the past, but maybe, had stopped doing. So I was a lot of it was just sort of getting back to the way that I used to stretch or the way that I've been taught to stretch. But it was a good experience. The tough part was, the tough part is, I should say, is trying to keep that going on my own.
Yeah.
And that's just a whole new learning process for me too, is learning how to take what they've given me and do it. Make it part of my daily routine.
Yeah. What this is kind of me mining information because this is really good for me to know. So what kinds of things do you think would help with that process, like in figuring out how to make it part of your everyday, or in terms of a week, like getting it done a certain amount of times a week? Or
I think it's just about having the time. I think in the past couple of years, part of the problem for me was working from 7 to 3 o'clock or 7 to 2:30, and then rushing over here to UNM to start rehearsal at 3 o'clock, and just sort of jumping right into it, especially around when it was during a show or during showtime. I wasn't finding the time for myself. I wasn't finding the time to warm up properly or stretch properly. And I think that's the hardest part is finding the time for me. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, because I think everybody's, all of our lives are really different, and our limiting factors are really different. So yours was like not desire at all, or like being able to remember things like that, but it was time constraints between scheduling and, what do you do as a teacher?
Right.
If you're teaching in a school system, it's not, some other jobs you may be able to like start a half hour earlier so you could leave work early, but they're not going to do that at a school, right? And so sometimes depending, like all of our issues are different and how we can manage things to take care of ourselves, and so now, how did they make the decision to clear you to go back to dance?
How did who make the decision?
Was it your physical therapist that?
Yeah, they sort of just kind of graduated me out of their clinic, I should say. They, I took some tests before and after, and I had shown improvement in flexibility and mobility in my neck and strength in my back. And it was just sort of also a word of caution, go ahead and get back into it, but just take it slowly, which is also hard to do.
Yeah, I know. You're like, I'm ready.
Which is also hard, but then it's that part of like, I have to be smarter about it, about the way I do things, because it's not easy for me to just kind of, or not just me, but anybody to do flamenco kind of sort of, little by little.
How do you do it halfway?
Right. So that was, it was just take it slow and then just pay attention, when I start to, right now it's kind of like it's kind of like chronic pain here, chronic stiffness in my neck, still, and then it's just kind of paying attention. When does that get worse, or what is it when I really feel it? What did I do that day, or what is it when I'm turning? Is it when I'm really trying to pull my shoulders back and down, or doing both at the same time? What am I doing that's causing something to not feel right? And sort of trying to change that.
That's awesome. That's the best way, really, because nobody can feel it in your body like you. How did you feel when you took your first dance class after not dancing?
I felt good. I felt, it was hard because I didn't feel as strong. I felt like I had definitely regressed a little bit. I didn't feel as comfortable doing some of the things that I may have been comfortable doing before. But it always feels good to be back, even if it was a hard rehearsal or if things didn't go very well. It's always after the fact that it's like, I feel good moving again.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And how about, were you nervous for the tablao?
So nervous.
Was that your first performance?
It wasn't my first performance, but it was probably like maybe the fourth performance.
Yeah, it's really recent.
Yeah, so it was still, and it's crazy how quickly you get out of shape if you stop working out.
I know, it's really frustrating. It's like all those years, really? Body, come on.
It's not bouncing back as quick as it used to.
Yeah, for sure. And so were there any things that you did that helped you with like your mental health with not being able to dance? How did you do with that?
I don't know, I think it was one of the things that was nice is that I had a lot of time to spend at home. That's always nice.
Oh my God.
And
what a concept.
With Ricardo and time spent with my family. And I, when I realized when I wasn't going to rehearsal anymore, I had a ton of time on my hands to like do things that needed to get done just around my house or, on other levels or with my family. And that felt really good.
So it kind of gave you a spacer of time. And so now that you're back and dancing, did you get any recommendations from the PTs on like how to manage things? Like, what do they want you to do if you start getting symptoms or?
Well, they, definitely to get back in touch with them, but just try to continue the series of exercises that they showed me,
That's awesome.
Just continue with those and continue trying to strengthen this and stretch this out so that this relaxes and this can, and also to get massages as well, because I do have like a crazy amount of tension here, and I don't know if it's because of my neck, but I feel like this is always sort of grabbing, and so to get massage therapy to sort of help me loosen that and let that go a little bit.
That's like the nicest prescription ever.
I know, but again, time is needed.
Time is needed, I know. And it's also not like your spa massage.
Right.
Like when you're getting treatment like that, it's serious business.
It's very painful, but it always feels really good.
So, one of the things that we're aiming for with Heart is to reach people that are either going through a healing process themselves or that know somebody, that they say, oh, my cousin's a dancer and they have a neck issue and you should watch this video, so-and-so. What kinds of things, like, in retrospect, now do you think could have helped you? Like, what kind of advice could you have gotten in the last year when you were kind of going through the thick of it, kind of the worst part?
I don't know. I think just part of the what was challenging for me and is just I wish I would have maybe listened to my body better, because like I said, in hindsight, I've been having neck pain for years and years and years, probably since, probably 7 or 8 years. And I can remember 2 different times where I did have, like, I couldn't turn my neck or I couldn't use my neck in a way, and I did have to, sit out of a show or stop rehearsal for a day or 2 because I couldn't move my neck. But kind of just not really taking care of that issue and just kind of not changing anything, just getting back at it right away. And like I said, it wasn't until I had the nerve pain that I realized that I have to listen. Something's wrong. So just to learn how to listen to your body, because it was probably telling me a long time ago that I was doing something wrong. Yeah. And that I needed to take care of it, but I didn't. Yeah. So then years later, I have this neck issue now that will never go away. And, I just have to learn. It's just about learning how to work with it.
And how to manage.
How to manage it, yeah.
Keep it in life. Don't give it any pet names or anything like that. Yeah, but show it a lot of love. Well, Alisa, thank you so much. I know this is it's a super intimate thing to talk about, especially as dancers, because we always are trying to put up our best face to the audience, literally, right? We're always trying to. So I appreciate your vulnerability and talking about it and sharing with all of us. And I know it'll help dancers that are going through similar other injuries.
I appreciate what you're trying to do here.
Thank you. And so it looks like things are getting exciting here at Pope Joy Hall now. So we're going to wrap up. But thank you again. This is Alisa Alba. You're welcome. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.